Hi, and welcome to Sixcess Stories. We are your hosts, Christina Gent.
And Eric Ozarowski.
And this is where we share real conversations with the 6 Degrees community all about life, leadership, and the power of meaningful connections. Today we have Camille Joy DeCamp, who is the ultimate yes person, who you will probably find at a live show, fully embracing the energy of the space. Her intentionality and love for genuine connection is a powerful combination for her role as an employment law litigator at Clark Hill PLC.
In this episode with Camille, we talk about the illusion of pressure and how it's an external force that appears in us internally. We get into her background of psychology and how that knowledge supports her as an attorney in the legal world. We also talk about her journey of becoming more self-aware and prioritizing things in her life that fill her up and energize her. We touch on her passion for educating her clients and how she reframes her courtroom appearances to be teaching the judge rather than trying to win an argument, and a few other things like the importance of being okay with saying no and not taking things personally.
Camille is so fun. I had such a fun time talking to her, and I'm just really, really excited that we have yet another person in our life that loves to go to live shows, because it is one of the things that you and I love to do. So yay for just more fun in our lives.
Our calendar's filling up with things.
Please enjoy this episode of Sixcess Stories.
So, first podcast.
Yes.
Are you nervous?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Aw.
Yeah.
It's just chit-chatting. It's really chill in here.
Yeah. No, it's a great vibe. I like the place, and
Yeah.
it's chill, and I wore something casual and
Yeah.
comfortable, so
Nice
I'm
and
good.
comfy.
Yep.
We've decided early on that let's not do cameras quite yet. Let's just kind of ease into it. And so I think for a lot of people, like, it's their first time on here.
Yeah.
And so it just adds a whole nother level of production, and like it
Stress.
feels intense whenever there's cameras. So
Yes.
yeah. So
The
we're
same
like-
thing is in my work, like when we schedule depositions,
Yeah.
and if I want to be like really mean, which I usually am. Well, I mean, in this,
It's opposing counsel.
Yeah.
in the sense that
Yeah.
if most of the time I'm trying to get information from people, right? So I want them to be at ease. I want them to be really comfortable. I
Yeah.
want them to, but if I am in a situation where I think the witness is going to be dishonest, or if I know they're not going to present well to like a jury, I'll schedule the deposition for a videotape also. And so they have the intimidation factor of all the cameras on them, because it's scary enough when you're being like recorded by a court reporter, right?
Yeah. Right.
And so if you have cameras in your face, it usually sends a more formal message to a witness. And so they're usually going to be more honest and try to be on their best behavior, because they know they're being videotaped. So they're not going to say things that are going to contradict themselves typically.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to try to put their best foot forward. So if you have to give them notice of it. So I always notice it for a videotape deposition, but then I don't always use them depending on how
How it
things are
feels.
going in the case and
Yeah.
how that deponent feels like it's going to be to me. So.
Oh, what a weapon.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. And it is intimidating. I mean, I'm intimidated when the camera isn't on me when I'm doing the deposition,
Yeah.
but like it's there and it's got the witness looking at me, and I still have my voice recording.
Yeah.
So that also is intimidating even for me, and I don't even have the camera on me. So it's not fun. Litigation's not fun. I mean, to be
yeah.
a party in it.
Yeah, I would imagine. That's really
Wow.
interesting. I wouldn't think of like using it. The psychology of that is really interesting to me, of getting someone on edge or intentionally kind of using the way that they're showing up
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
either capture it or not capture it.
Yeah. And if it's not an opposing party, like the plaintiff or whatever, if it's just like a witness or a friend or somebody that knows something in the case, that's when I'll tend to be really informal and really chummy and
Yeah.
really like, oh, tell me, your dog and da-da-da. And, we talk about stuff so that I can get more information out of that witness,
Yeah. For
sure.
versus
Yeah.
the animosity of an opposing party. So.
Right.
But yeah, you think about all those different factors and how they play in and how you're going to get what you want for your case.
So interesting. I have a lot of questions. We can go into that more. Typically, the way that we start these is similar to the groups where we do a check-in to just get grounded, get everyone's voice in the room. for today, what's 2 words to describe each of our week so far? How would you describe Long. Or how you're feeling at this point in the week, maybe sharper.
I think just busy, because I still have so much to do.
Yeah.
Now that I'm happy that it's almost the end of the week, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I still have to do all this stuff by tomorrow. So.
It's like, oh, yeah, deadlines.
Yeah. But I'm excited for the weekend. I have fun things coming up. So
Nice. I would say fulfilling, momentum.
For
it's
me,
a great word.
Yeah, energizing, and I don't know the word for it, but like just time. It's May tomorrow, and that is insane to me. Pull up the Justin Timberlake, it's going to be May meme.
Oh, yeah. It's time for that meme again.
Just the way that time is flying by for me this season, this year is kind of wild. So I need more time. I don't know what the word is for that.
Yeah, yeah, just time. I think that encapsulates kind of all of it.
Yeah.
Wanting more, not having enough, it flying by.
Yeah.
It reminds me of, on the topic of time, so I just watched this video of this person talking about how pressure is a made-up thing within ourselves. So when we talk about like feeling like we're under pressure, and he gives the example of someone who's expert basketball player and they make the shot at the top of the key within the first few seconds of the game. There's no pressure there, right? It's just the game, and it's my skills, and I know how to do this. I've done it 1,000 times, and they shoot it and they make it, and it's fine. It was 0-0 before that, and so then the illusion of just the pressure that comes when it's the end of the game. I'm down by 1 point. There's 5 seconds left on the clock. And so just like this made up, but it all comes internally, right? Because the court hasn't changed. The ball hasn't changed. The goal is the same height that it was the beginning of the game, right? Like it's all the same, but because of the time component, right? Well, what is time, and do we even have to acknowledge it as like the way that we do? So
and all the stories that we're telling ourselves in that moment, right?
Yeah.
In the beginning, we're not going, this is my last opportunity, this is the end, this is all going to come down to whether or not I make this shot. So we're not there, that story's not there until the end, when we put all that pressure to say, like, we have 1 second left to make this shot, and if we get this shot, then we're going to win or we're going to lose. So this 1 second, this one shot is going to determine a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just a really interesting video.
Cool
I was like, ooh, okay. Yeah. It's really all internally, the pressure that I'm creating for myself.
Yeah.
I forgot which Cowboys, similar sports analogy, but the Cowboys coach, they had a big thing about the Super Bowl being like this big grand stage, and like, yes, there's more people watching, but it's the same field, and it feels like I'm doing the thing on like an acrobat, like 100,000 feet above, but it's the whole thing. His whole point was like, it's just a Sunday. You've done in your whole career.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let all the outside noise
Mm-hmm.
be a factor to it. Right.
Yeah, and it's interesting to think about that too, because you think about, and even like with the pressure, putting it on yourself, but then also even more so when you think about something like a Super Bowl, everyone else is making it more than it is, right? Everyone else is hyping that up and selling advertising time. So there's so many other things going on for everybody else outside of the people playing the game.
Yeah.
Right. That it's so...
It's interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's really interesting. You think about all these, pressure comes from everyone else, and, yourself and everyone else, and what that means and what we tell ourselves about that and how it changes the present.
But what's interesting, what you said, Christine, is like you mentioned, like it's an internal thing, but the external can't, like the Super Bowl, there's so much hype around it. Like I would imagine that kind of, it makes the internal part of me like question if I say, oh, it's just another game, like, is that true?
Well, and you're
not according to everybody else.
You're someone who will drive this home every time. I can't make you feel anything. So it is internal, right? Like I can't make you feel something. So regardless of now the stage that I'm being put on and all this external, right? The noise, the crowds, the anything, like they can do whatever they want, but I'm the one who's in charge of the way that I feel.
Right. You're still letting that in.
Yes.
You're still taking that as part of your narrative.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and how long do I feel the way that, right? So like the flip side of I can't make you feel anything. Camille, stick out your hand and let me grab a hammer, and I can make you feel pain for a second potentially, But how long do you sit with that? How long do you nurse it? How long? That's where the internal part is, right? Just example of I can feel it.
Well, I think physical pain is a little bit
A little
different.
bit different.
Obviously, if I punch you in the face, it's a little bit different from if I say something that is, quote, it's hurtful, or you internalize it as hurtful.
Yeah. How does pressure show up in your world, in the legal world, if at all, for you?
Well, I think in the same sense that, you have the hype of the Super Bowl, or this shot comes down to winning or losing the game. It's, everything's focused on results, right? We're very result oriented, right? Especially in our country and just whatever. But I think for what the client wants, what the goals are, did you win the case? Did you win the motion? Did you win the,
right.
There's something that you're going after and winning. And that's how it shows up for me with clients asking, how did this go and what are we going to argue and are you ready? And then partners that I'm working with on the case, if we're doing it together, okay, did you do your part? What, are you ready? And so I think in that sense, that's all the kind of outer noise. And for me, then I'm battling with that and how important something is to me, or how hard I'm fighting for it, or how much I'm wanting this for the client. Or, you get personally invested, right, in the stuff that you do. And so I know that I put a lot of pressure on myself. Like, I have to do this. I have to convince the judge of this, or we have to get that. And so that's probably the biggest ways, is just the sort of, what everybody sees on the end of, what I'm doing on the...
Right, yeah, so much of it is the narrative and the perspective, and shifting the perspective to try to control or influence the narrative in what you do.
Do you have times where maybe you didn't win the case, but because of the circumstances, the outcome was still a win in your eyes? Just because, without obviously like confidentiality, but like what's like an example?
Well, an example of that just generally is, a lot of times this comes up with settlements. It's interesting to think about settlement. You want to talk about like a real like mind game, or like a interesting phenomenon, is talking about settlements, because I don't know if you've heard the classic saying in the legal world that a settlement, it's a good settlement when neither side is happy. Because the nature of what a settlement is, you're giving up something. You are settling.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's sort of like counterintuitive to what we're ingrained to think. Like, you can have everything and you go and don't ever settle and set your standards high, and kind of that thought. Then to when you're settling and you're talking, usually in the world that I'm in, it's just about money. It's usually just about money.
Right.
And so, when people are talking about, giving up hundreds of thousands or thousands or millions in some cases of dollars, that feels like a loss to them. And so when I think about times where it may not be a win in the win category, but there's still so many other wins within the case. And one example of that is a good settlement where one party walks away feeling like they gave something up, but they didn't lose everything. And the other side also feeling like they didn't get everything that they wanted, but they got something.
Sure.
That makes sense.
And so it's an interesting dynamic to think about that. So you don't walk away going, yes, we won because we got everything, but it's still a win because you avoided maybe all these other things, the costs of litigation,
right,
and, the stress of going through all that. And so you maybe didn't win, but you still win.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, I mean, I assume that the faster that a company might be able to settle, like you said, it eliminates the litigation piece and time and energy and all the others. It's like, yeah, it's just not even worth it. Like, let's just settle and get rid of it as fast as we can.
But it's interesting when you think about the psychology behind even a lot of the whole legal process, and I'm sure this is the case in a lot of fields too, to think about like the psychological element. But when there's so much emotion typically involved with the case, outside of two big companies, they have a breach of contract and there's a lot of damages for dollars involved or whatever, and so they sue, and it's not really an emotional thing outside of that. But a lot of times it's a very emotional thing, and someone feels wronged, and especially in the realm of employment law that I do a lot of, it's usually an employee, right? It's a former employee or even a current employee that feels wronged. And so it's a very emotional thing typically for the employee. And sometimes, depending on, they sue the company, but sometimes they'll name others individually. Even if they sue the company, they name different people in the complaint. If somebody was, a manager was bullying them or harassing them or creating a hostile work environment, there's a lot of emotion involved. And so they get the settling, and sometimes they're just like, it's not even about the money. And so in the beginning, they don't want to settle right away, even if the company's like, you know what, this is a business decision. It makes dollars and cents not to litigate this. Let's just give them some money and be done with it. And I often see that dollar amount in the beginning that gets offered to them is typically somewhere right around where we end up if we do end up settling, for the reasons of the emotional kind of journey that a plaintiff or an employee has to go through to kind of get to that point when they're willing to be done with it. It takes some time. Sometimes it takes some litigation. It takes some time.
Yeah, I would imagine part of it is obviously every case is different, every person is different, but just wanting to be heard and wanting to tell their story is to anyone, right? Just like, so part of that would be,
and the acknowledgement, right?
Yeah.
Listen to my story and tell me you feel bad for me,
right,
or
which,
you're sorry,
which
or
is the side of like, don't just pay me off and pay me to keep my mouth shut,
right,
which is what that could feel like.
Like a dismissal.
Yeah. It's like, oh, cool, here's the check. And it's like, that's not the point.
Well, and even just like the price of my dignity, right? Like the price of what my emotions and what I'm going through, right? Like that's a big part of it too. Is like in my mind, it's like I could imagine being like, well, I'm worth much more. My dignity is worth much more than this dollar amount that they're trying to give me. I thought about it for a minute. The bar world, it's a crazy place, and just the idea of the time, the energy, the emotions of going through that process, I just was like, it's not going to be worth it. Like, I don't even really want to go through that. I'm walking away. But it was even emotional, even just having to say I quit and leave the job itself. I'm a very loyal person, and so yeah, I can't even imagine if that was as emotional as it was. And I did I willingly sat down with one of the owners of that bar, and even talking through that with that person, I was like, oh, this is already like, I just want to be, I want to leave. I want to leave. I don't want anything to do with this anymore. So yeah, I can only imagine going through that process is a lot.
Yes.
It's very heavy.
Yeah. So that's why a lot of times it's like giving them their acknowledgement and validation without admitting anything. It can be a challenging, line to walk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I could see that. This is more of a curious question. I don't know if you have an answer to it, but how, just from someone that's not in the legal world, there's so many things that seem wrong with it, to put it lightly. What percentage of time do you feel like justice is served in the cases that you're involved in?
Oh gosh, Eric, that's a tough question, because what is justice in each situation? It's different, right? It's different I'm a zealous advocate for my client, and my client is usually, on the defense side. And so I often have situations where I think, gosh, you guys could have done things better. You should have done things better.
Right.
You didn't do anything illegal, like it probably wasn't to the level of violating any codes, but could you have done better? Probably. So while this person is bringing this lawsuit because they may be mad and it's clear that they don't have quite what they need to show that the defendants or the company did anything wrong, but was she kind of wronged? So it's a tough question to answer, because maybe the company was technically in the right and we win, and then the employee doesn't get anything. Is that justice? Well,
right. Yeah,
it is for the company, but then is it for the employee? Because maybe they didn't technically do wrong what the employee thought they did wrong, but it still feels kind of like the employee should have something.
Right. That's why I asked it that.
Okay,
that's why I ask it that way. Is like maybe the flip of it. It was like we got to the end and it didn't feel like justice was served. Like, how often does that happen? Where it's like the employee should get something, and I feel bad for
I think I would say it a little bit differently. Okay. How often do I get to the end and feel like it doesn't feel right?
Sure.
It doesn't feel right to me. Like,
it doesn't sit well with you.
Right. It doesn't sit well with me. But so I'm such like a people person too, right? That I do always I get close to different employees and witnesses and stuff. And so it's hard sometimes when I feel like, well, yeah, I just spanked you, but I sort of feel bad about it because, it doesn't feel right. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, that's how it feels sometimes. So I would say, probably maybe half the time.
Half the time?
Maybe half the time, because the other half is like, it's very clear that for instance, I also represent a lot of construction companies.
Sure.
And so there'll be guys who are all laborers on certain crews and they get really close. And we'll get a lawsuit. We'll get sued for one of them for something. And then, let's settle it. This could be a big deal. This could end up somewhere. We'll settle it. And I had a client who then, like 5 of like 9 of the rest of the guys on a particular crew, they all sued for the same types of things. And so sometimes I'm like, the employer will say to me, like, I'd rather pay you than pay them out each something, like, let's fight this and send a message that they can't just do this. And so those are times when I'm like, you know what, that feels just like it was a shakedown. And so I'm glad that you don't get anything and that we won, because it feels like you were doing something for the wrong reason. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, and then there's also just the fact that there's so many vulnerable employees that get targeted by attorneys who see an opportunity. And God, that is so shitty. Like, I mean, just the fact that like this employee didn't even have any issues, or maybe they just wanted to have a conversation, and I don't even know how exactly attorneys go about like finding those people and whatever, but like, yeah, that
part's hard.
That
part's frustrating because it's so clear when it's driven by the attorney and the employee. Sometimes I'm like, I get a demand letter, because usually they'll send them first before a lawsuit so that they can see if they can do a quick settlement.
Yeah.
And I get these letters, and some of the allegations in the letters aren't even in the job that the employee did. So sometimes I'm like, come on, you guys, you got to do better. Like, and so when there are a lot of cases like that, when it's so clearly that, and it's not even driven by an employee, I totally get the situations like that we talked about earlier, when like, that maybe things should have been handled differently, or that this employee keeps getting passed over for something, or, whatever, a loyal employee.
Well, when it's legitimate, it's like, that's part of the reason why this course of action exists. Right. Is because the crazy thing to me is that we live in a very employee-friendly state. The crazy thing to me is like all of these rules and regulations and laws wouldn't have to exist if people just actually did the right thing for the people and treated them as an asset rather than a cost, an expense on their P&L.
Right.
And so I do like that part of it and appreciate that part of it, is that people, which is the class action discussion is a whole nother story about this, but you do want to have some vehicle for like the little guy, right? The little guy to keep the big guy in check. You need some tool to be able to do that.
100%.
But with everything, right, then it gets abused, and people find ways that, it can be a money maker, and, then it turns into something way different, which is, I think, what's happened with a lot of class actions. But, class actions can be a very good, my clients would probably fire me for saying this, but I mean, class actions, just theoretically, like what they were intended for and how they can be a tool to give some protection in some way. You're not going to sue Verizon and, get your 75-cent charge that you shouldn't have been charged. You're not going to bother to bring a lawsuit for that, right? But if they are, I mean, I had a case that went on for almost 6 years, 5.5 years, and it was about a large company who was charging a surcharge on a contract, like it wasn't a telephone company, but I'll use that as an example of like, you get a 75 cent or whatever, it wasn't 75 cents now, but $2.50 surcharge for something, or a big one is like a $15 processing fee.
Right.
That's a very common one that, so I actually represented the plaintiffs in this one. It was a very large class action. They would never have brought it to get their $2.50 back, right? But because of the class action vehicle, it can bring enough people together, because enough people are affected, that it provides a way to have attorneys' fees paid for and to have some representation to get for the masses, so that this unfair business practice isn't happening anymore.
Right.
And so for those things, that's why I think class actions intended to be a way to kind of keep these things in check and prevent them from happening for the average consumer.
Right.
Now, they've gone absolutely out of control with class actions. It's absolutely crazy.
Well, when you said that, how it just kind of turns into like something that it wasn't really intended to. I think of marketers. Marketers break everything because it turns into spam. It's like, oh, there's a new thing we can, let's flood everyone's inbox with spam emails, and right, whenever there's a new technology, AI, we're going through it with AI right now.
Yep.
Right. It sounds very similar when you said that. It
Yeah.
reminded me of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't there like a big class action right now against Ticketmaster?
I think they just settled.
Oh, they did. Okay.
AXS, and it was not Ticketmaster, AXS and Live Nation.
Oh, Live Nation. That's right. It was Live Nation.
Live Nation.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, yeah, they just settled actually.
Yeah, I just saw. I mean, I wasn't paying any attention to it, but I follow some like pretty big Swifties, and they were all up in arms about it. So, because of how much of a mess it's been to even try and purchase tickets to concerts. Like, it's just been
Talk
insane.
about something that's gotten out of control.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Fees? Sometimes the fees are more than the darn tickets, you know?
Crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. And it's one of those, it's disappointing because it's like, if an artist makes it big enough, I now am like, oh, am I ever going to even be able to see them again?
Right.
Because of how difficult it is and how much it takes. And I literally have to like spend my whole day waiting in this queue of hundreds of thousands of people to buy these tickets that maybe I get, maybe I don't. By the time I'm in there, what's left in there? Is it the $1,000 tickets that I can't even afford anyway? Right? Like, it's wild.
I do like that because I go to a lot of concerts. We've talked about
yeah.
this, right? Like, I go to a lot of concerts. And so I have spent many hours and hours and hours of days and weeks waiting in queues to purchase my ticket. So I like now, because of all the bots that just buy them all up and then resell them, right? And sell for huge amounts of money. I love that the artists they're trying to control that now, and they're demanding from Ticketmaster, whoever they use to sell their tickets, that they have to go through certain processes and certain limitations and certain verification things. I know we're going to see Noah Khan, and I just did this with that, and he said, I'm not going to have, I'm trying to reduce the ability of bots to buy up all the tickets. I want my fans to be able to be there at an affordable price.
Right.
And so anyway, I like that artists are doing that more and more.
Well, and the artist doesn't get to see any of that resale money.
Right.
That's
that's what Taylor Swift said when the whole thing, because it really came to light, right, during the Eras tour with Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I'm not getting when I authorize a ticket to be sold for $60 and it's being sold for $1,400 or whatever.
$2,000.
Yeah, she's not getting the benefit.
She doesn't get
of
the
that.
markup.
Right.
Right. And I mean, that's the kind of the challenge with art in general, and music is very much art. But if I buy a piece of art for X from you because you bought the piece, the artist doesn't see the
Right, when it's resold.
The accumulated value of it over time.
Sure.
Right? And so it's just like that kind of got applied to music and the ticket sales, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Right? What would be fair is Ticketmaster gives them a cut of the resale.
Yeah.
Right? And then who cares? Then the artists aren't going to complain because they're going to make more money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Versus it becomes like, yes, like the marketing PR spin is like, oh, I want my fans to be there. But if the artist ends up making 10x because of the resale, they're not going to complain about that.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it depends on the artist, but
yeah. And they also want to make it accessible to everybody. And
right.
I mean, who can afford to spend $250, $300? I mean, that's even on the lower end to go
multiple times. Yeah, multiple times a year to go see different shows. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
Because you went to the Banana Ball. And
yes.
So that's what Christine and I were talking about. Like, they have their own resale market. I don't know if you know this part of it.
Yeah. You have to do it through their website.
Yeah. So we were talking about this the other day. We were like, well, they figured it out.
I know, it's like,
why can't everybody?
Why don't artists have the same type of thing?
Exactly. It's like, I mean, with Taylor Swift, it's like, dude, especially with as much money as she makes through all of her, her merch and everything else, it's like, why wouldn't I create my own ticket sales and distributions just the way that the Savannah Bananas did? Because in my mind, it was like, it's not like the Savannah Bananas are in just one place and that they can control like the stadium and like, of course, then it makes a whole lot of sense. Like, no, they are going to all of the baseball diamonds all across the U.S. and I don't know if they're also global at this point, but so she's doing the same thing just in stadiums. So yeah, I don't know why more people aren't doing that. Or maybe the Savannah Bananas are going to be like they figured it out, so let's copy them and let's do it ourselves.
Yeah. You would think that at least for a tour, I mean, Taylor Swift did an almost 3-year-long tour. That's not common for artists. Usually it's like a 4-month tour. And
did you see her? Did you see the Eras tour? You did?
Oh, I spent many, 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 many days in the queue.
This was part of
you
the
are
queue.
729,000 people away for,
Is that real?
coming up next.
Yeah,
well, I did the artist pre-sale. Didn't get tickets.
Sure.
I mean, I spent literally 5 or 6 hours in the queue. So yeah, and then I didn't get tickets. You can imagine how thrilled I was.
No,
And
that's
then
so insane.
then I did like whatever it was, Citibank or Amex credit card. They had a special pre-sale as well.
Yeah.
Signed up for that one, did that one, sat there for hours in the queue, didn't get tickets.
Wow.
And then did the general public sale. And so I never got them, even though I did all the pre-sales and all the everything. I never got them. And by then, man, I was like, I'm getting tickets.
I've invested too
I'm
much
telling
time.
you, I am getting tickets. This because my daughter is, I mean, she loves Taylor Swift, and she was in 8th grade at that time, and just wanted to go. And of course, you know, you want to. I just was like, come hell or high water,
We're
I'm taking
going.
my daughter
It's
to this
happening.
concert.
Yeah.
You know, like I probably knew the 4 or 5 songs that everybody knows of Taylor Swift's, but my daughter had every album and knew every word to every single song, all 10 albums, and so. I have a funny story about this. So anyway, yes, I did get them. I paid aftermarket prices. I
Sure.
paid insane prices, so
Sure.
I only got 2 instead of 4
Yeah.
because I was like, I know my husband and my son aren't going to be huge on this anyway. So yes, it was happening. So I gave it to her for her 8th grade graduation, and I held on. I was quiet about it for like 5 months
That's fun.
and gave it to her, and I was just thrilled. But
Did she cry?
no, she's not a crier.
She's
but
not a
I
crier.
did.
Okay. I was like, I would
Cried for both of you.
I did. I was like, honey. And I had tears streaming down, and she was like, thanks. I'm like, so it was funny. So we went up to LA and we spent the weekend up there and got a hotel near the concert. And so she'd been planning her outfit for months, right? And talking to all her other friends that were going and what's everybody wearing. And, you know, every album has a name, right? And they're all like whatever. And they have a theme and a color and like whatever, right?
Yeah.
I don't know all that well.
Yeah.
So we're getting ready for the day of the concert, and she has hers on, and she has whatever the purple flapper dress. I don't remember if that was Folklore. I don't remember, but
Yeah.
anyway, it was one of the albums, you know, and she had it all done. And so I'm getting dressed, right? And I wear black all the time. I had jeans and like a black cute little shirt, and my daughter was like, "That's what you're wearing to the concert?" And I'm like,
Of course not.
"Right." But
Gotcha.
I'm at a hotel though. What if I can't pull out another outfit, you know, out of thin air? So I'm like, yeah, honey, like what's wrong? She's like, well, what are you? And I'm like,
What am I?
what am I?
Your mom.
What album are you? And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't know we were supposed to be an album. If this was a big deal, why weren't we talking about my outfit months ago? Like,
Yeah.
you know, but it was very funny. So I guess Reputation is the black one,
Yeah.
like black with the red or something,
Yeah.
I think, or whatever. So she's like, okay, so Mom, we need to get black. So we're going to the concert. We're walking in, and people are selling cowboy hats, glitter, boas, and like sparkle stuff. So I'm like, here's a bunch of black and red. Should I buy this stuff? And she's like, yes, get all that, put it on, you look good. So I passed, barely.
Yeah.
But I passed.
That's amazing.
I guess I was
really funny.
Reputation.
What are you?
What are you?
I know, it was just such disdain too. She's like, what are you? I'm like, I don't know. Just
How dare you disrespect Taylor and
Right?
all her fans
how
by
have
showing
you
up
not
in blue jeans?
planned your outfit for 4 months, right? Yes. So
Well, you did dress up, in my opinion, like the best part of the concert, because the Reputation era of the show I thought was phenomenal. Like, it was so good. I didn't get to go. I didn't know how much I was gonna have FOMO after the fact that it was over, and like after like all this stuff happened, and I was like, wow, that's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Like, that's something that, regardless if I'm a fan of hers or not, that's something that's not going to happen again in our lifetime, as something that big, somebody that big to do
Yeah.
something that big, and a tour that just does that much money, that much people, you know, or that many people. That was just wild. Such a wild
it was
thing.
a wild thing. I've never, I mean, and I've gone to concerts my whole
Yeah,
life.
I was going to ask,
Yeah.
like, what was the experience like being in that
It was
arena?
wild,
'Cause
and-
it was at SoFi, right?
It was
Yeah.
at SoFi, yeah. It was wild. The energy was insane, and I was probably the only person not dressed up as an album. I can tell you that much. I mean, people from 8 years old to 75, 80 years old,
Yeah.
and decked out, full on Swifties. And I mean, I wasn't a big, I didn't know her music,
Yeah.
but I like her. I think she's amazing. I'm forever impressed by every aspect of her. I think she's an incredible person, and an artist and businesswoman, and, you know, all the things. It just wasn't the music that I listened to,
Yeah.
but I like it. I was blown away by what, it's so hard to even describe. It wasn't just a concert, right?
Yeah.
It was just a phenomenon. It was
Yeah.
just a cultural event of this time. blows me away.
And what a cool thing
cool.
to like a cool like I really appreciate the way that you just described that, because it's like I think so many people, we get stuck in the cultural phenomenons that are negative, like the really big impactful things that have happened during our lifetime. And we can talk about 9/11, we can talk about COVID, we can talk, just these big like, oh my gosh. And like, that's the negative side of the world kind of coming together, the country coming together in these ways, where it's like, well, what about these really positive ways, right? Like this space, everything I heard from anyone who attended was like, this was such a beautiful community. There was like this moment that we all just shared together, and that's something that it's a forever thing. So I love the way that you described it.
Yeah. And I think even too, just the whole creation of like these friendship bracelets.
Oh, right?
I mean, that became such a thing, and like
Yeah.
forever stayed like that is. And seeing people, strangers connecting on the common bond of Taylor Swift anyway, but then sharing and giving and taking and having community, trading bracelets. It's amazing what that did to bringing people together, even outside of the commonality of Taylor Swift. But, like, oh, I love what you did with that. Oh, it says this. That's so cute. Mine, I did all mine like this. Or, I did all these colors. Or just that sharing and that, connecting and growing. I don't know. It was amazing to me.
Yeah.
And I didn't have bracelets to bring because... Well, I
Didn't prepare the outfit.
I didn't bring all my bracelets to exchange, but I left with a lot because people were like, "Oh, do you want one?" And I was like, "I don't have one to give you." And they're like, "That's okay. You should have some." And so people just would like give me their bracelets because I needed some, clearly, and I didn't have any to
to
give.
fit in.
Right.
Yeah.
This woman needs some bracelets. Get her some friendship bracelets.
Yes, please help this woman
You're
out.
basically telling the world you don't have any friends, Camille.
It's like, yeah, but that's the thing is like, oh, here's all the new friends. Here's all the friends I got you make, right?
Correct me if I'm wrong. The bracelets weren't like she didn't do anything
No,
for
it
that.
was
Like it was through
small
like a
line in
song.
a song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really
She
super
literally
cool.
just in a small, like it's just like a part of a line of a song that she says, so make the friendship bracelets and take them. Like it's crazy. Like she did not
blew
plan
up,
that, and it just it blew up, and it just
Well,
became,
and I mean, that's how like Travis Kelce,
Yeah.
connected with her, right?
Yeah.
I guess he
Yeah.
gave her a bracelet with his number on it, and like,
tried to do that.
That's
It's
so
just
the
wild.
story goes.
yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah, we don't know, but
so Eric's not the biggest fan of Taylor Swift, so we can actually pivot to, I'm actually curious, with all the concerts that you've been to, what are some of like the highlights for you as a fan of the music that you like?
oh gosh, I think one of the biggest. I have some really memorable concerts that I went to. I've gone to some huge names. I saw Michael Jackson in the Victory Tour in 1984. I saw, or 1985. I've been to some big concerts, but I think the ones that stick out to me is when I was the most present in the music, just so in the music and like the only one there. Like I can vividly remember a lot of concerts that I'm like feeling like I'm the only one here. I'm the only one really feeling this music. I'm the only one hearing it. It's being sung to me and just reveling in that, enjoying the music because I love just that feeling so much. And so getting to hear it just all around me, I think that's when I think of like some of my favorite concerts, it's that feeling. It's that sharing of the music all around me. And then even better when you're with friends and everybody's singing the words together and you're dancing together and all of that. But I don't even need all that. I've been at concerts where I've just been sitting and watching and just like mesmerized that like I'm watching this person create this sound and this melody and this noise that I love so much,
Yeah.
I know it's weird. I know.
Yeah.
Going to one on
music
Saturday.
is so powerful. It's something that, it's funny. Some of my favorite songs, I end up having a hard time even singing along to them because I'll start to get emotional.
Me too.
Like I'm just like, I just want to sing along to this song because I love singing it. Like I'm having a hard time even finishing the lyrics because I'm about to start crying. And it's not even a sad song. It's like just a powerful.
It's just powerful.
It's just powerful.
So I'm bummed now that I didn't look this up before I'm about to say it because I'm probably going to say it all wrong and butcher all of it. But one of my favorite people in this world is Lin-Manuel Miranda, the writer of Hamilton and in the so much. He told a story, and I can't remember if it was in like car karaoke with James Corden or like whatever, some interview or something. he was being asked like how he got into writing or doing music, and he said something along the lines of, and I can't remember what the song was. I know what it is, but I don't recall it right now. But he said that when he was young, he was in the car with his mom and they were going somewhere and some music came on. And I can't remember what it was, but the music came on and the mom and he just like you could feel the emotion in them as they received that music, right? And he said, I want to make people do that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like whatever I need, whatever I want to make people feel that when they're listening to music,
Oh,
you know,
that's
and that
amazing.
struck me so powerfully. Like, wow, because you don't always know what that is, and it's different for different people. But that it's such a powerful tool to have make people feel that to want to just give that is amazing to me. Just so powerful. Yeah.
That's really, that's really cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that makes sense for him.
Yeah.
With what he ended up doing and some of the things that the impact that he's had.
Yeah, talk about another cultural phenomenon.
For sure.
Is Hamilton and Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Eric's actually pretty lucky to have some ties to the cast of Hamilton.
We do have some Hamilton ties.
Yeah.
With who? The original cast?
A few of the original.
Like Leslie Odom or Chris Jackson or
David Diggs.
David Diggs. Yep, another one. Amazing.
I'm blanking.
Renee Elsberry.
No, what's his name? Oh my gosh.
I can picture him.
I can picture him
Jonathan
perfectly.
Groff?
No.
No, he's been in. Oh no, he's in In the Heights. Right?
Yeah.
Who was he in Hamilton?
Oh my gosh, why are we blanking on this guy's name?
I'm like,
Ramos.
Anthony
Anthony Ramos.
Yeah.
Ramos.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah. Previous life, we would do like off-Broadway, like private shows with the cast for like 30, 40 people in someone's apartment in Chicago.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
What an incredibly, phenomenally talented
Yeah.
Yeah,
group of people.
the whole cast is
To have that amount of talent, I mean, is unbelievable in
Yeah.
one show. Just, blows my mind.
Yeah, it was well written, well casted. Like, it did.
I could talk for hours about Hamilton. I could talk for hours about anything music related. So,
Well, okay, so who is someone that you didn't get to see that is no longer, with us on this planet, that you're just like, oh, if I could have seen this person, this band, do you have somebody that...
Prince.
Okay.
I had the opportunity to go many times, and I didn't make it a priority. It didn't work out or whatever. And, you always think people are going to be here for forever. And I regret that I missed seeing Prince because I think he would have been just phenomenal live because, again, he's so geniusly, musically talented.
Yeah.
But that's one of them.
That's one of them.
Yeah, that's a big standout to me. I don't like regret, so I try to do everything I can to never have it.
Yeah.
Because it's such a painful feeling for me because it's hard to do anything about, and I'm a doer, and I like to make things happen. And so I had a lot of regrets when I was younger, and as I worked through them, as I grew and developed and matured and whatnot, went through lots of therapy, I don't want to have those feelings. And so to the extent that I can, do everything I can to live here and now in the present and do the things that I want to do and make the choices that I want to make. And my choices are different now, too. I make different choices than I used to. But that's why I try to do everything now. I see, when someone comes into town and I want to see him, I go see him. I mean, even when last Wednesday, I like Charlie Puth a lot. I think he's another just a weirdly, brilliantly, talented artist and musician and songwriter. And I'd kind of heard he was coming, but I didn't really stay on top of it. And so Wednesday morning I'm working, and my daughter texts me around 11 o'clock from school. Yes, she does. And says, "Mom, Charlie Puth is coming. I want to see him." And I said, "I know. I'm looking into that." And she said, "No, he's here tonight."
Oh.
And I was like, "Oh, well, then I guess we're going. And I was exhausted already. It was already a long week. And I was like, okay, well, I will get us tickets and we will go. So I texted my husband and my son, hey, Charlie Puth is tonight. Does anyone have any interest in going? They both said no. And I said, okay, we're going to go see Charlie Puth tonight. So I did. And it was a late night. I didn't get to sleep till almost 1:00. But you know what? It
Amazing.
was so incredible. And I love that I got to go with my daughter and I brought one of her friends. But, you know, it was so just, again, that music and being there and hearing them. And I thought, yeah, I was exhausted. But then I'm like, do I regret going? No, not for a second.
Did you feel exhausted once you got there, once you started going, or did the energy shift?
No,
at
the
all?
energy definitely
Yeah.
shifted because I was like, you know what? I just resigned. I'm going to be tired tonight. I'm here. So let's not let that take
Make
away
the
from
most of being
Yeah.
here and be present. And
Yeah. And I
love
just
that.
really enjoyed the music. And he had 2 opening bands, so he didn't start till 9:00. So it felt really late. I was like, oh gosh, it's almost my bedtime. But I did. And so I try to do that now so that I
Yeah.
can, you know, either make a conscious decision why I'm not choosing to do that and then feeling okay with that so then I don't regret it. I try to do the things that are important to me and that I want to do now.
I love that. Yeah.
That's important. I went through last night was a similar thing. So we had a friend invite us kind of last minute. Hey, like my band's playing at this place not far from us, and I was like, yeah, I'll come. And we got home and I was like, I'm exhausted, and Christina was tired, and the set list was 3 different bands, and they went out. I got there like 2 hours before they even went on, and once I got into the bar and like the music's playing, I'm like, okay, I'm good. That's why I ask, is sometimes even like I feel tired, but then I left energized after. I'm glad I went. I'm glad I showed up. I'm glad I got to experience it. And live music for me is usually it helps me just be present and just enjoy it, even if I'm not dancing, even if I'm just kind of hanging out, just listening, and just kind of observing what's happening. Like that
live
space.
music fills my bucket.
Yeah.
So even if I'm low on energy and low on sleep and low on all of that, it fills my bucket in a way that I can get energy from that. That holds me over through the tiredness, right?
Yeah.
So one of the most brilliant men that I've ever met, and that I'm so fortunate that I got to know and learn so much from, my grandfather, he taught me so many amazing life lessons. And one of the things he always said to me, and he was very outgoing and very dynamic and had tons of energy and never sat down, and it just go, go, go all the time. He was amazing. And he always said to me, you know, you've got to do that, you know, go do this and say yes and go do that. And sometimes I would be like, but crap, I'm so tired. And he'd be like, you can sleep when you're dead. Like, you know, you go. And my grandfather lived till he was 98 years old. And I swear that he lived like 400 years in those 98 years. And, you know, and so I always think about that. I'm like, tired, schmired. I know that it's important to rejuvenate and rest, and your body needs the rest. So I'm not advocating for no sleep, but do feel like even if I'm short on that, the other stuff is so fulfilling to me, as long as I'm making choices to do things that are fulfilling to me, right?
Right.
And not doing things that take from me, you know, things that fill my bucket instead of empty my bucket.
Yeah.
And live music is definitely something that fills my bucket.
How long ago did you figure that out?
Gosh, probably maybe 10 years ago.
Okay.
Not that long ago. Because I was still doing things that emptied. And when I really made a priority to just do things that fill my bucket, and that doesn't always mean just doing fun stuff, right? That means doing stuff that's important work or meaningful work. And so that stuff may take from me in terms of, you know, feeling tired and exhausted and overworked, but being very intentional about filling my minutes and my hours with things that give me meaning and that inspire me and keep me going. And that shows up in different ways.
For sure.
The live music is the fun part of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's taken me a long time to learn.
Yeah, I think it's something that we don't audit that, right?
Yeah.
It's not something that necessarily, because I can do it from events. I can do it with people. People can, there's energy vampires where some people is like, why do I hang around? Right? Holidays for some people can be that, right?
Yes,
And it's like, well, I have to. I got to go do the thing. But as much as I think I just love like what you said, like the opportunity is like, no, like what is the amount of time that I need to get rejuvenated, that I need things to be filling my cup, and I need to make sure that I'm at least getting that in some way, shape, or form, however it shows up. But I don't think as a society that we do that enough. We feel like I should be doing this, or I'm supposed to be doing this, or the should.
I think you're right.
All the shoulds and oughts and
And the funny thing about that though is doing like all the shoulds and the oughts and the obligatory stuff. I don't think we check in enough about, if I'm going to be exhausted, if I'm going to be up till midnight or 1, okay, if I'm going to be exhausted anyway, how can I spend that time in a way that I'm not going to feel as deflated and depleted? How can I do that? So if I'm going to make this conscious decision to go get into my sleep and not do it and do whatever, is it working late under a deadline? Is it, doing something fun? Is it connecting with being there for a friend who had a breakup and just wants to cry? How, not only doing the things and being present and intentional about the things that we want to do, but also not doing the things that take away from us, recognizing and saying no. I remember, I think it was a January meeting I was at with you, and I was like, my big thing for this year, my goal, my big thing, because I don't use resolutions, but my big focus for this year was saying no and feeling okay with it.
Right.
Recognizing when there's something that takes so much away from me that it's just too exhausting. It's kind of like saying no to like toxic people or people that drain you, right? But also activities and things that drain you and aren't filling your bucket, because then it's even worse if you're not doing the things you want to do and you're doing things that you don't want to do.
It's like a double.
That can be catastrophic,
Yeah, well, I mean, then the time that I have is just full of things that I don't want to do and that are draining me, and then life goes by really fast and it gets really sad really quick.
And then you feel exhausted all the time.
Yeah, and then I'm just tired.
And not in a good way. Not good exhausted.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be exhausted, it's going to be because I did something really cool.
Fun. Yeah. Yeah. I've talked about it on here a couple times, but one of those things for me this year was, if I'm meeting someone for the very first time, I'm going to meet them in person. And so if they suggest phone or virtual, thank you so much. I'm not interested in that. And if you want to meet for coffee, I'm more than happy to, because I think there's ways for us to understand, even within our work, the things that we are needing to do to accomplish the goals that we have for the work that we're doing. How can I have those types of boundaries within it, right? So I figured out I actually can't stand meeting somebody for the first time virtually or on the phone. It's not for me. Maybe it does take me a little bit longer to go to the location and sit down and have the coffee. It's not maybe as efficient as knocking out 6 back-to-back Zoom calls, but again, if we're talking about being deflated and we're talking about an energy suck and we're talking about not even actually being that productive, because I can line up all those calls and I don't remember shit about any of them because there was nothing tangible. And so to me, I was like, no, I'm done with that. And I'm actually wasting my time and I don't like it. So why would I do it? Why would I do that, right? Yes. So yeah, it's even in those moments of, I still need to get the work done. I still need to meet new people. So how can I do it in a way that's fulfilling for me?
Yeah.
It's a good example.
Yeah.
How is your goal going this year?
Pretty well.
Yeah.
Pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm getting pretty good at not feeling bad about saying no. I don't want it to go to the other end, but no, I think pretty well. I think I've been very proud of some pretty big decisions that I've made this year and some boundaries that I have set this year. And things that, I've been working on for a long time, professionally and personally, through my work and with my therapist, and just with like evaluating and analyzing where I'm at in my life and what I'm doing and decisions that I'm making and stuff, and where I want to be and how I want to feel all the time, and
yeah.
So I'm on track.
Yeah.
I'm on track. I mean, there's been it's not always perfect.
Oh, you're human.
I
think you're human.
Yeah. There are a few things that I'm like, oh gosh, I could have done that better. But seeing some important progress, some really specific things I've been very intentional about, I'm pretty proud of the progress I'm making. So
that's awesome.
That's great.
Just gotta keep the momentum.
Is that in any way related to the job shift recently?
That's one. Yeah, that was one big thing. Yes. And, it's amazing whether it's a change of jobs or moving to a different house or a change of relationship or, whatever these kind of big events that we have in our life. It's amazing what an incredible reflective time that can be, and a learning time for yourself, whether the change was motivated by you or not, and what you can make of it. It's pretty incredible. I'm amazed, for me in my situation, what a difference that has made for me emotionally, mentally, how I've been showing up differently because I'm not in a place that I was feeling very stifled and brought down. And just the change of environment for me has really opened up so many things that have been just really rejuvenating for me. So
yeah, I feel like sometimes those little shifts they unlock something.
Yeah.
And I my version of this is and I think we've shared this on here, but I'll move furniture sometimes just to have like a little bit of change. And Christina did it one time, and I did, like, she was gone for the weekend. She came back and she grew up moving a bunch, and so there was like a culture shock kind of thing. She's like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, it was it took me a while that day. Like, I walked in, I was very upset and even emotional, and I couldn't even like explain to Eric why I'm like, I didn't understand. I didn't know what was going on internally. And he was just like, "Oh,
I'm all happy." I'm
yeah.
like, no,
yeah, he was like,
couch is there now. This is over here. I'm all excited about it. She's like, "What did you do?"
You have like a new living room.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm like,
yeah.
This it's like a new place.
He found these really cool shelves that were just like discarded on the street or whatever, and they were really nice and they were like in great shape. And so it was almost like that golden retriever like energy of like, look what I got, like, look how cool this is. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was so upset.
What happened to my house?
And it took me a while. I had to go and just kind of like settle down and just like not even really talk to him about it. And after I was able to just kind of like regulate my nervous system, I realized I was like, oh, I grew up moving around a lot, and it was often, it was like, get rid of all the stuff that we have, pack up what we can in our car, and like go to the next place. And I think just the constant like movement of that has me now as an adult, like, I really like the sense of control, even though that's an illusion. And I understand that as an adult, I have to, work through that more. And so when this piece of like, I just come home and like all this stuff has changed, I'm like, what? I can't, right? It's just like this everything was, it brought me
unsettling.
back. Yeah, yes, exactly. Unsettling. It brought me back to like that little girl, right? And so, yeah. But now the funny thing is now that I understand that, I either, if the feeling comes back in some way, shape, or form, I can work through that so much faster because I've identified it. And I was like, oh, that's what that is. And that has nothing to do with him or me or the furniture or whatever. It's just this feeling. It's this memory. And I can move past it. So, yeah, it was a really funny. Yeah.
And, along the thought of control. So what's interesting is, so you didn't have control of that when you were growing up, right? And you just had to go and then start anew, right? Mm-hmm. And it's funny because things changing now, you weren't in control of that because Eric was. He moved things around.
Yeah.
But now you get to control what you do with that, right? Like, it's like, oh, what is this bringing up for me? It was feeling unsettled, but now this is just a new, organization of the furniture, and I'm still settled and I'm still home and this is still here for me. And, like, you get to still kind of control your world around that. So I don't know. I was just thinking that, it still is so powerful because you actually still are in very much control, you know?
Yeah.
Even though it feels, because I think you revisit that feeling then when you weren't in control, but you actually are in control now.
Yeah. It's like regaining the control, right? It's
and
like,
you can calm that unsettled feeling in that girl who always felt so unsettled and didn't have control. Now that unsettled feeling comes up and you get to go, it's okay. Yeah. We're settled.
Exactly.
Like, we don't have to, you have control now. Someone else isn't controlling you, moving you around all this time.
Yeah.
And that's like such a powerful thing. And I think about that and gosh, certainly having kids has just shoved all this in my face, but it's so amazing. And I actually was just saying this to my therapist a few weeks ago, like, it's so cool being an adult and like an aware adult, because when you sort through different triggers or different things from your childhood or growing up or things that were unsettling or that you didn't have control over or whatever, trauma or whatever it is, it used to feel very scary to me that, wow, I have all this stuff that has affected me and, I'm still trying to sort through it, versus it's such an actually empowering time because we get to do what we want with all of that now. Like, maybe there's things that we didn't get to control and that were subjected onto us, but now we get to say, like, okay, I can take that situation or those feelings and that, that time and go, no, we get to do this differently, and I get to, I can move the furniture every day and still feel okay with that, or, and it, because the meaning of what it was at that time is not necessarily the meaning that we have to give to it now.
Right.
Like that's not our story or narrative, and we get to decide what all of that is, right? Because we're in charge and we can do whatever we want. And I don't know, I just love that feeling of like, I get to comfort any part of me that didn't have control of different things. I get to heal any part of me that needs healing. I get to nurture and mother and, parent and whatever it is that felt maybe broken or unsettling or, traumatizing or whatever that was. Now I get to handle it however I want and do whatever I want with that.
That's really the only thing that we have control of, is how I feel now about whatever it is, right? And most of us, most humans, most adult humans are just 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old kids that never really grew up, that are in an adult body and don't really realize it. And so it sounds like you've been doing some really powerful work with your therapist.
Yeah, I love that. Because, you're right. I mean, it's the feeling might initially bubble up, and then I get to control the way that I'm going to move through the feeling, and then what my reaction's going to be.
Yeah, and what you're going to do with it.
Yeah, and that is so powerful. It's giving me all the power to do what I want with it. I think the awareness piece that you touched on too, if I want to be aware enough to work through that and do that, I could have easily, when all of that happened with the movement of the furniture, I could have easily just been like, I'm upset, fuck you, I'm gonna go cry about it, and I don't want to deal with it, and whatever. And that could have been the path, and then I just never even like addressed it internally. But because I did, I got to figure out what the hell it was, and then now, right? And so I think the more that we can do that in any, like when those big emotions come up in our lives, it's like, ooh, okay, like why is this happening? Because this person, like Eric, wasn't attacking me. He wasn't harming me. He wasn't
trying to ruin your life.
No, he wasn't.
not at that moment.
Yeah, so it's fun. I mean, it's fun, and it's kind of like the adventure of it now is like, okay, cool. I get to work through that. I get to do this, right? That's another thing too, is looking at it as an opportunity. I get to grow through this.
Yeah.
Things that I've had, I love puzzles. Like there's been I love just trying to figure stuff out, and then there's like, well, I'm a puzzle, why don't I spend more time trying to figure this puzzle out?
Yes.
Right. And I'd say I love puzzles, but I like external puzzles more than I like the internal puzzle. the
they
mirror
can be very sticky.
The mirror isn't my favorite puzzle to figure out.
Right. But don't you wish, like when you talk about like you recognize that in that process, like there's so many people that you're like, I wish you could just take a minute and check in with yourself about this, and figure out what's going on. Like how much I think happier people would be.
Not everybody wants to do that.
I know. Well, I think, too, because some of the messaging, like when I just think about social media and I think about everything, trigger warning. So everyone always starts a post with like TW. Okay, I'm going to talk about this thing that happened to me or whatever. And I think like we talk about trigger warnings, and I do think it's important to identify like, hey, this might trigger some people. This is a sensitive subject. It might trigger somebody in something, a response in somebody. But I think we look at those things as negative things. And for me, like triggers, you had a response to him moving the furniture, and it was a traumatic response for you. And, you took the time to check in about it. Triggers to me are just information.
Yeah.
Our body's just telling us something.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a negative thing. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. You don't even have to relive the pain that maybe was associated with it, or the negative feelings that were associated with it in the beginning or the first time. The triggers are just information. It's just our body going like, hello, what's going on here? Look at pay attention. Let's look at this.
The antennas are up.
Yeah, it's just teaching you about you.
Yeah, and so being more in touch, being more in tune. I had someone talk, I forgot who it was, but we were talking about similar conversation. They're like, yeah, no, I don't say trigger anymore because it has a negative connotation. So they say activate.
Yeah.
I feel activated.
It's a great word.
Right, and it's a little bit more neutral. So it's like, there was emotion that came up in me in this thing. I felt it, and instead of just reacting, well, the reaction is the reaction, but can I pay attention to how I'm noticing whatever's happening inside of me, and then sit with it and just be curious about it and not judge it and be like, oh, well, I shouldn't feel this way, right? Same type of thing that we were talking about earlier. It's just like, this is a really interesting feeling that's happening right now. what's going on?
Yeah. And I think that next step of noticing that you're being activated, checking in about what's going on. And then the other part that I think is very challenging, but that I think is so important, is sitting with it. Sit next to it. Sit next to that pain. Sit next to that unsettled feeling. Sit next to that discomfort.
Lean into it.
Right. It doesn't have the charge that it had when it was initiated.
Right.
It doesn't have that same charge. And sometimes we're like, oh gosh, that brought up that time with me. I don't even want to go there. Like, but like, wait, let's give it some validation. Let's recognize it. Let's sit with it and be like, okay, we got this. Thanks for the information. I'm good now.
Right.
And I think that it takes away all of that negative charge when we can just sit with it. I mean, you want to sit with pain all day long? Not really, but I mean, like,
some people do. Some people do because are you familiar with the drama triangle, Cartman's drama triangle at all?
No.
Okay, you would love it just based on this conversation. So I'll share some stuff with you.
Okay.
In more in depth. But so there's basically the idea that there's controller, perpetrator, rescuer, victim. And there's this triangle Steve Cartman's work is based in domestic violence. So there are real victims, and to be very clear, like that's not always necessarily the case when I'm talking about in this context. But this little triangle, we live in this triangle. Me and Christina have a dynamic, and it's not like a personality test where like I am one of the three things. I can move from one to the other and ping pong in seconds.
Whatever situation.
Right. And so some people, there will be like, well, I'm getting attention. So as the victim, so I'm going to sit in it because it's serving me in a way that's right. So that's why I might sit in things longer because of the outcome that's it's
what
creating
it's doing
for
you,
me,
what
right?
need it's filling.
It's more comfortable. It's more comfortable. It's more familiar. Right. But the drama triangle is a really interesting tool that I think you would appreciate. There's a lot of learning with that. It's a really fascinating just way to understand dynamics. We all have family dynamics that just exist. Brother, sister, mom, dad, mother, daughter. But we'll get into like kind of these like grooves of patterns where me and Christina will do it's like I become controller perpetrator so she can slide up to rescue so I can be a victim, and then like just move back and forth. And it's all happening like in nanoseconds.
So fast,
Well, and
without even realizing it. Unintentionally.
And we're also in a drama triangle with our own selves, right? That's another part of it. It's just like our narrative, our internal narrative. So yeah, it's really fun work. So I do think from this conversation
I'll look into
you
it.
would like it. Yeah.
I'll send you some stuff on it.
Yeah. We've also got a leadership lab that can be attended.
We do.
Well, we'll talk about it and we'll use it. Small plug.
What inspired you? So it sounds like you've had quite a bit of therapy, and what inspired you to get to do that work for you? Because this is some of the things that we're talking about. It's easier said than done, and a lot of it is living.
Well, I've been in
practicing.
therapy for over 40 years, so I mean, it's I've gotten quite good at it.
Yeah.
No, but I think when I was younger, when I was a kid, 10, 12 years old. Obviously, some family dynamics kind of sparked that interest, and just experiences in life. And I was always a people person. I always was very connected to people and trying to understand people. If somebody got mad about something or yelled or something, it was like, wait, what's going on? Why are we yelling? What's happening? Are you hurt? Are you, And so I think just as a very young kid, I was very in tune to people and their emotions and dynamics of things and interactions between people and what prevented things and what encouraged things. And, so I actually, I knew I wanted to be a psychologist when I was very young, and I went to therapy very, very young because there were things about me and behaviors that I illustrated that I wasn't a fan of. Very young, I knew what's going on with me and why am I, and a young brain doesn't always know how to analyze that and process it and evaluate it. And so I actually asked to go to therapy and was like, I want to learn more about me and why do I react this way? Why does somebody else react this way? And what's going on? So I was always very fascinated by that. And that's why I wanted to go into psychology and clinical psychology, which is what I did for my first career. So, I just was always very interested in people and the dynamics.
I feel like that's why most people get into it. I'm interested in myself and what's going on with me. And then I don't know that.
Yeah, I remember in graduate school, I took a class on the DSM and literally I was like, I have that disorder. I have that disorder. I had like 37 different disorders. Like on the first day, I was like, yep. Oh gosh, that's me. What do I, but that's like the joke. Everyone's like, you always diagnose yourself with a million things, but yeah.
Yeah. Just that part of your career, how has it shown up? How's it served you in the legal world? There's so much of it.
I
Even
think
the way
in
we started
so many
this
ways,
conversation.
just going back to like what we talked about right in the very beginning, is like so much of my work has a large emotional component to it.
Yeah.
And managing that for clients and expectations and communication. And not only that, but it helps with in depositions when I need to get things from people, or when I want something, or when I, want to, just for strategizing, I think, different things. And also just in the specific field that I'm in employment law, I do a lot of like interpersonal relationship trainings for a lot of clients. If they have a lot of conflict that's going on, or unhappy employees, and they kind of want to reset everybody, I do a lot. Who was I talking with? I can't remember if we were talking about this, but that when people get promoted at their jobs, they're not, they want the responsibility and they want the increase in pay, but they don't often have the skills necessary to go from, say, an employee to a manager or a supervisor, and be the communication between the lower level employees versus the C-suite people, or, and so it comes with greater responsibility and greater pay, but often not more training and, developing greater skills.
Right.
And so that's often when there's a lot of unhappiness with employees, because they feel like there's not good communication with management. They feel like their expectations aren't being clearly set and enforced and things like that. And that's usually because of the manager. And so it's hard being a good manager and doing the hard stuff. It's great when you do team building and you do events and it's fun for all your employees. But when you have to counsel people and write them up for not following policy or procedure, or doing something inappropriately, or if they're not meeting the expectations, that's the hard work. And that's the work that they usually are ill-equipped to do, because no one trains them on that when they get promoted. And so anyway, so I love that part of like the education and training side of what I do, because it really helps give people the tools that they need to do their job better. And then obviously it's better for everybody else. So it shows up in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I think I'm very grateful that it's a natural marriage of that kind of experience with what I do now.
What type of, so like that part of the education stuff, because a lot of it's communication, right?
Yes.
It's emotional intelligence, it's communication, it's being able to connect with the other person and the human level. As you were talking, popped into my head, this was one of my favorite, I forgot who, it was like an Instagram little like clip, but basically the guy that was talking, CEO or former business owner, was talking about how he's like, my whole philosophy on promoting people, especially like really great salespeople, is the only way I would promote you is if you train the next person that's about to take your job. Because if you can't train that person, you're not going to be able to run a team of people. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's such a smart. It's like the promotion is yours. All you have to do is
just fill your
here's the next person in line. You need to get them up to speed and running, and in a way that works.
Yeah.
And then the job is yours. But if you can't do that, there's no point.
If you can't develop this person, you're not going to
be able to run a team, right? The skill set doesn't translate.
Yeah.
I'm curious, when you're working with those companies and with those individuals, what type of tools are you teaching? What's the basis of that work?
Well, typically it's fairly surface level.
Yeah.
Because the nature, it's hard to really do like deep work with 60 people, sometimes it's a couple hundred people. So it's more surface level, but it's even just introducing concepts. And it's surprising, I'm sure you guys know this, that it's surprising how many people don't have some of the basic skills in those realms about communication, about effective listening, about working with others. And, but it also requires some knowledge and willingness to look at yourself, right? Not just like communicating with others and how to develop the skills of communication, but how to look at yourself. We use a lot of examples of things. Sometimes I'll go in and like do a survey and then talk to them like, what are your challenges with your team? What are your what are some of the complaints that you see? And we'll do surveys of different levels. And so I'll read those and see like, where's the miscommunication? Where's the gap here that we need to fill? And so I usually make situations and scenarios from the actual surveys that I do. And if we don't do a survey in a company, I still can use a lot of these examples in a lot of
they're universal
context because they're fairly universal.
Yeah.
So we'll do things like practicing listening and talking back. We do things practicing like delivering not great news in uncomfortable situations. We'll do like, what is it like when you have a good buddy that you really like and you think they work hard and do a good job, but they're not doing a good job? We need to create that paper trail in their file, and we to protect the company, but we also want to encourage them and check in with them. What's going on? Why is this? What's happening that's preventing you from being where you want to be? And checking in with them. And so people don't often even just know the basics of how to do that. And so even just doing some examples or role playing or modeling, it's like the light bulb goes on of, I didn't think about that. And it takes a while to get good at that stuff, right? But at least introducing it, that's
just as a framework or as just here's one pathway that's, for some people that's super helpful. I would imagine that's really impactful.
And I always put like a lot of resources. So, things that maybe people don't feel comfortable asking in front of everybody, just different resources for like just things about self-help things and checking in with yourself and checklists for good skills to develop or, good ways to communicate and things like that. So even just something more simple like that can start them thinking like, am I really hearing them? Am I like listening is a whole nother thing in communication, right? And then we think, oh, I'm listening to you, but are you hearing me? Are you hearing what I'm telling you with my body language, with what's between the words, what's, all this stuff? Because some people can't always communicate very effectively in what they're saying. And so being able to kind of try to look at the bigger picture of what's going on is a whole nother skill. And so we touch on kind of all those things.
That's my favorite world. I love that kind of stuff. That's
And it's funny when I think about like the education component, because teaching is one thing, but then actually doing and practicing is another. But when I first became a lawyer, and I remember the first handful of times that I went to court and had to actually argue a motion, like it was a big deal. There was something on the line. We were going to either get it granted or denied, and it was something we needed, right? You bring a motion when you're in litigation because you want something to happen. And so you're requesting an action usually, or you're on the other side and saying, no, you don't want the court to order that, right? So the first handful, and I still do get nervous. People ask me, like, do you still get nervous going to court? Yeah, it's been 21 years and I still get nervous going to court. But especially if it's a big deal because of what I'm telling myself about what it means.
The pressure.
Putting the pressure on myself. But the first handful of times, and one night when I was like going through my notes, and it was a motion for summary judgment, which basically can dismiss a case. And I was very, very, very nervous about it. And I was going over my notes and had outlined everything and had all my exhibits and was tabbing everything and highlighting stuff and getting it all in order. And I was just sick to my stomach. I was so nervous, And then I thought to myself, you know what? I know this stuff so well because I've researched it all and have all the case law and have everything. And I was trying to calm myself because I felt very nervous. I was worried I wasn't going to be able to go to sleep. And so I did this thing of talking through myself and saying, like, because I used to teach before I went to law school, right? And so I said, I am the expert on this issue. I know the case law in and out. I have it all set. I know the facts of our case in and out, why it should or shouldn't be, what I'm asking for. And I just remember telling myself and walking through myself saying, I am just teaching the judge. It's just education.
Yeah.
I don't need to argue with anyone. I don't even need to worry about what opposing counsel is going to say. I don't need to worry about, does he know this or that, or did he look at this case, or is he going to have some case that I don't know about? I don't have to worry about opposing counsel because he's going to do what he's going to do. He's going to argue and say what he's going to argue and say.
Can't control that.
My job is just to educate the judge. So as if I was just going to sit and explain to you about this case and why I think I should win this, that's all I have to do to the judge.
Yeah.
I don't have to win. I just have to very effectively communicate these facts to the judge and why he should side with me, so that it's not a fighting and it's not a winning or losing, because if I've done my job, at the end of it, he's gonna be like, I see now why you win. Okay,
Right.
So
Right.
it doesn't always go that smoothly, but that helped me calm the noise and the fears and the anxiety and the stress and the pressure of this isn't a high pressure situation. This is just me educating the judge. I'm just teaching him.
Yeah.
You know, he's like a student. I'm just teaching, I'm imparting all my knowledge on him about why this issue should go this way, you know? And somehow that took away the like kind of fierceness and the kind of conflict and the kind of like nerves and anxiety of this fight of you versus me and who's going to win. It really changed the setting for that for me. And so when I get nervous, that's what I always think about.
So, I mean, such a powerful reframe. Like people, we talk about selling a lot. People get nervous. A lot of people in 6 degrees, like, I don't want to feel salesy. It's like, what if you weren't selling anything? What if you were doing what was best for your client and then supporting and helping them, teaching them, right? Your version of teaching them. And it doesn't feel like arguing in a courtroom.
Yeah.
Because it's not.
It gives you like a little bit more it empowers you in a little bit, because when you're teaching and you're educating, you know, you're the one with the knowledge that you're imparting on someone else. It's not some judge deciding who's going to win in this fight, you know?
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, I love that reframe. And then it was funny just how the full circle moment, call back to the beginning of this episode of the pressure.
Yes. That we create for ourselves. We just need to take control and decide to call it something else.
Yeah. It reminds me too, just the way that you framed it, of like, it's not about the win or loss between the two people. It's in like how that also applies. I've heard it said before in relationships when it's not about we're in conflict with each other. There's us, we are a team. So we're in conflict with the issue, with whatever the challenge is. And so even just these little reframes that we can do for ourselves and for each other, and how different than the communication, right? And how that lands. It's a lot easier to communicate when we're not at each other's throats.
Yes. Yeah, that you take it out of yourself. The conflict is the thing, not you.
Right.
Yeah. And so there's something that's preventing you from seeing this together, but the conflict is here, not here.
Yeah.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's outside of the dynamic that two people have.
And when you think about like how often do we take things so personally, right?
Oh my gosh.
We try to make everything about us. And it's like, well, wait a minute. It's nothing to do with you. It's about this.
Literally every time. I ran into somebody that I know recently and went up and said hi, and the energy from this person, like I was like, oh, it's off. Like I felt very like, I don't think this person wants to chat with me right now, which, I mean, that's fine. And but I immediately made it about myself. I immediately was like, oh my gosh, is this person mad at me? Like, what did I do? I'm like, wait, this has nothing to do with me. Right. Like, why am I making this about me? It's not the Christina show, like, as much as I want it to be. So, yeah, I think so many of us, we internalize. I just had this conversation, too, with a member, actually, who was just, like, talking about more of, like, the sales process. And I think you even mentioned this earlier, just, like, we are so results-driven, and we tie ourselves to the result, to the end result. And again, like, we have to remove ourselves from that, or else every time we get ghosted by a client or a prospect or whatever, every time that someone just is like, there's all these other reasons, and it's not me. It's not like, oh, this person just doesn't like me anymore, right? And so, yeah.
It's nice when you, like, get out of yourself, right? You're like, oh, I am so sick of being in my head. Like, let's get out here and not make it about that, you know?
I don't do that enough. I need to do that more.
Yeah. Like freeing, right? To be like, oh, yeah, wait, this doesn't have anything to do with me.
Yeah.
Woof. What a relief. I don't have to worry about it here. Let me just take that and put it over there, because I don't need that. I have enough stuff here. I don't need to add to it.
Yeah.
It comes up a lot, at least, I mean, for both of us, but I know Eric, I think, might sit with it a little bit more. Like, when someone doesn't renew their membership, that's always like, what the hell did I do wrong, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, literally nothing. It's not you, right? It's not me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the part where I feel like it's...
But it's hard there, because when something is so important to us,
yes,
again, we put that meaning into, we try to explain and define someone else's behavior. And we have no business doing that.
Yeah.
It's not our business.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah. It's very true. Gotta let go of that shit.
I'm always like, as soon, like, because it's such an instinct too, if I get wrapped up into something and I'm like, but what? And then I'm like, whoa, well, wait a minute. This isn't about me. Like, yay, oh my gosh, it's not about me, this is great, like let's just get rid of that and put it over there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yay, go back to doing whatever I was doing.
Yeah, I need to do that more.
I do too. It's a practice, right?
It is a practice.
Easier said than done.
100%. And the things that are like really important to us that, like if you wanted to go to somebody's wedding and then they didn't invite you, right? It's hard not to take that personally, right? You didn't make the cut. And well, wait a minute, then, doing some evaluation of that. And so sometimes when it's something really important, it is a little bit harder to be like, wait, this is not my thing. There could be a million reasons. Money, whatever, somebody else had to come, or some aunt that wasn't going to come can come now, and that, whatever, like who knows? There could be a million explanations. That doesn't mean you aren't an amazing person that they value and love so much and whatever. So then, it is harder, but I feel like the more that we practice, even on the small stuff, and we get better at doing that, then we can do it on the harder stuff and then be like, okay. Now, it's also paying attention to like, if that keeps happening to you with that person and they keep excluding you from everything, okay, well then maybe it is time to start looking at like, am I doing something that's creating this? But, for isolated incidents and here and there, this isn't my stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a good example. I'm in my head right now thinking about
get out.
Thinking about how I can get out of my head.
You're in your head thinking about how you get out of your head.
Yeah, that's probably the problem.
Overthinking.
Do that quite a bit.
I'm the queen of overthinking.
Well, these conversations go by so fast in here, and this was really fun because, one, like, we don't set this up in any way, so we just don't really know where the conversation's going to go, and so this was great because we got to talk about all kinds of fun things, and love anytime I get to talk about music, and I think because, like, I can feel that that's such a big part of your life. So we definitely need to go to some concerts together because
100%.
What do you have coming up? I feel like you're the type of person that's
Saturday night is Yacht Rock Festival down in Liberty Station.
Oh, that's Tom's going to that.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I love like all music. Like literally, it's so bad when we go somewhere. We'll go to like a bar out of town, just some random place, and there's music. And my husband always knows I'm going to be like, can we stay for a while and have a drink and listen for a while? And we'll listen for a while. And inevitably, well, probably not now these days, but they have all their CDs set up and I always buy one, and I got to support the local artist. And then I listen to them, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is when we were at that place, and did that and stuff. That. It's just so
that's cool.
It's so fun. But yeah, so Yacht Rock. I mean, that I'm a 70s and 80s music girl, so all the chill 70s and 80s music is so fun. So
did you see Cheap Trick was just here? Did you see Cheap Trick?
I've seen them. I didn't see them
this
time.
Okay.
So that's one of the like kind of filtering factors I have to do if I've seen them a number of times.
Sure.
And so some of them, there's some groups that I've seen 10, 12, 13, 14 times. So if I have to pick and choose ones that I get to go to, especially because I get put on restriction a lot from my husband. So
yeah, I was gonna add, do you have a music budget?
I don't have a budget, but I get put on restriction. Like if we're going to like a lot of concerts, my husband's like, honey, because he's like really quiet and kind of introverted, and he doesn't like crowds, and and so it's very funny that we're together, but he'll just be like, okay, I'm done, because the other part is not just live music. I love live theater just as much as I love live music. I love musicals and I love Broadway shows, so we see just about everything at the La Jolla Playhouse, the Old Globe, Civic Theater, and so I schedule stuff, and then I can tell when I have to take a chill pill for a while, and so I'll pick and choose my battles, or I'll say I'll go with a friend, so if you don't want to go, so.
Well, you've got two people right here who, if you don't have a buddy,
I'm excited.
We're in.
So what's your favorite music? What's your favorite live scenario setting? Is it a smaller one in a coffee shop? Is it like a Petco Park fill up, and what kind of music?
I love all of the above, right? I think that each one of those experiences has such a special, it just has a different type of impact. There's been times where we went to, what's it called? The Sound? No, not the Sound. That's the one I'm thinking of.
There's the Sound, the music box, the belly up.
Yeah, there's this tiny little venue that I've done Death Cab for Karaoke, so it's just a bunch of emo punk music. But we went and saw the Lagoons there, and I loved how intimate that was, right? It was a tiny little venue, and they were really fun. And so I love the intimacy of that. I guess the Casbah would be another example of an intimate space to the big. When we saw Billie Eilish, right? That was on the bigger scale of, and freaking
was so
phenomenal.
good.
She was so good. I didn't see this recent tour. I saw the tour before that. I think that was the one we saw. I don't know. Either way, it was one of those things where like Eric isn't necessarily like this huge Billie Eilish fan by any means, but going to that, I remember him like walking out of there and being like, damn, like that production was amazing. So
She can sing.
and she can definitely sing. God, but her and Phineas together is just, they are such a duo.
They are unbelievably talented. I'm
so
just
talented. Yeah, so much talent.
Oh, I can't even imagine having a flicker of that talent.
You have talent. It's just like it's just in a very different place than the.
I want that talent. I have the overthinking and be in my head talent. I don't want that talent.
Same.
But I will say, so Eric isn't the most like musical theater type of person, and that's literally my major. I have a theater degree, so I am down for those shows with you.
Okay,
for sure.
That's good. And
For
Eric,
sure.
what music for you?
I like so I'm very open. If you say it's a good time, I'm open to it. So I'm very open to trying different things. My favorite I go through waves of stuff. We're going to Zach Bryant. I like him. I like folky music
Folk
is what
and
I've
acoustic
learned.
guitar, too.
Yeah, folk and acoustic guitar. I like hip hop, rap. I like Chili Peppers, Black Keys.
Oh, I love it.
That kind
Yeah,
of like rock, like that
Yep.
way. So it's a little bit all over, and I kind of go through phases of different. Like right now, I'm listening to certain things. J. Cole and Zach Bryan are probably the two things that I'm listening to the most right now.
Nice.
Like they have both released albums recently. So
I haven't, like, rap is probably not one of the genres that I've seen the most of.
yeah,
But I did see Run DMC and the Beastie Boys. So
that would be fun.
Nice.
That would be fun.
Nice.
back in the day, in the 80s. But yeah, back in the day. It's funny.
That's
That's
a good
really
concert.
cool.
Yeah.
Love that. No, yeah, we're definitely down.
Well, we have to make it happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that'd be really fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're very much live anything, right? Which is the whole reason why the way that we built this company and what we wanted to do. So like when we do these live sporting events and last year we did like a backstage music experience at the Music Box. It's stuff like that where I'm like, yeah, like this is where we feel something,
Yeah.
right? This is when we get to do the dinners. It's like that's a form of art that the chef is creating for us when we get to do, right? So all these moments of like at the sporting event, it's more like this like fandom piece, right? Where we're like cheering on a team and like they score and it's so excited, like all these different ways that's how human beings connect.
Yep. I agree, because that's the vehicle, right? When you're cheering for the same team, it's like you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
we're on this team together. All of a sudden, we're best friends because we both love the
Yeah.
Padres, like whatever. And I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
think music can do that similarly.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, 100%.
Even like religion and stuff, like if certain people are like, part is like, what are you passionate about, and then just like let me see you be passionate about the thing, and
Yeah.
let me be around that,
Yes.
and just respect it, right?
It's so infectious, right?
It's so there's something really magical about that. It's like I'm really into this.
Yeah.
And like I tell Chris, I say this to a lot of people, but if you haven't seen Christina watch a Chiefs game, you don't really know Christina yet, because she
Yay.
gets so into the games.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
very passionate.
Yes.
And that's why I think, COVID was particularly challenging for me. I mean, I know it was challenging for everybody. Some people loved it. Some people were like, great, I didn't
Yeah.
have to go out ever. I could just stay home and read books all day. Like, I didn't have to. I mean, I have friends that were like, they loved it because it took the pressure off of ever having to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And it was particularly challenging for me.
Yeah.
Just feeling so disconnected from people. And, you could do Zoom, but good Lord, if I ever have to do another Zoom again.
I know.
But, just losing that connection was just so unreal for me as human beings. We're such group people, and we want connections, and we want to belong, and we want to be a part of something that's just innate inside of us.
Yeah, we're
And-
social animals.
yeah, and to just have that overnight just gone for a while. I mean, it was a couple of years before things sort of got back to normal, and I still think as a society we're forever changed as a result, right?
yeah.
Not everything went back to the way it was, and it's hard. We gotten, dealing with the convenience and doing Zoom more, and we just fall back on that because it's quick, it's easy, it's whatever, and we never would have run things that way prior to COVID, you
Right.
know. And so it really changed us, and in some ways not for the good. So work really hard to try to get back to what I think is the way things should be.
Yeah.
Making everybody go out all the time.
Yep.
we had a very interesting experience of it. We both got COVID like the first week.
Oh,
And
my goodness.
So part of it for us was we're pretty young, pretty healthy. My experience is I'm probably pretty young, pretty healthy, probably gonna get it and probably gonna be okay. And then that happened. So then we just went about living our lives and had a lot of family and people that were afraid of certain stuff.
Yeah.
And like, we just didn't really have that. So
Yeah.
I would have probably been in your camp a little bit more if we didn't have that freedom of kind of going
But even
through
though
it.
you had the freedom, wasn't everybody else still kind of like checked out? And
Yeah, I mean, we didn't, it's not like we got to like be around people and do things until like people started to actually get back to that. But like, yeah, I think we didn't have as much of the fear for us personally because we got
3
it.
months into it, like we went to Austin where it was open with a bunch of friends and went and hung out.
Yeah.
Right. Like there was just things that like, for some people it was years.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a little bit short of a window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So COVID was a crazy time.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And I think about I saw what happened with my children, and it's crazy to me that you think about the struggles that the adults had. Think about the kids who were not equipped to deal with that and to work through it, and to all of a sudden they just get shut off from society, and they're doing. Can you imagine doing elementary school or middle school?
I don't know that there was a good age.
Right,
I don't know
sure.
that there was anyone like was an adult. I don't know that there was like an ideal situation. It was such a crazy.
It's crazy that that's part of our life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to live
Like
to
as
have
memorable as assassinations of presidents or 9/11 or just as memorable as that. It's crazy.
Yeah, that was a big one. We could talk all day about that. We can talk about everything because there's certain things that are still rippling from that.
Yeah.
But I do think we're at time for today, so we'd love to have you back again soon. And
let me know.
But before we go, just as a reinforcement, what are the one thing that each of us are taking away from this conversation? What stood out?
I loved hearing what you said about pressure.
Mm.
Because, we all feel a lot of pressure, and so we don't need to. So I'm going to add that to my conscious setting of boundaries and limits with myself. Like, no, I'm not going to allow this.
Yeah. I learned a lot more just about how you work with clients and even just like the education side. And this was just great to get a little bit more insight and get to know you more and how you support people and the people that you work with. So that was really nice for me to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked the other day and a lot of it came up. So I'm glad that Christina, you guys got to talk about the Taylor Swift connection and the Eras tour. And,
I am a fan.
Me too.
And so for me, just I just love the heart that you have for wanting to be the best version of yourself, and then how that shows up in how you support your clients using the psychology pieces, and how that we speak that language, and that's so much of the education part that we are trying to bring to 6 Degrees, or that we do bring to 6 Degrees is for us is we really think of this as a relationship development organization. So how do I help you as a member and us as a collective community? How do we be better at communicating? And not everyone wants to do it, and it's not the most fun work all the time, but it's being awake, it's being conscious, and it's a choice, and those conversations are always really fun. So it reinforces we can go a lot deeper, and I'm going to share some stuff with you that I think that we can nerd out on about a little bit.
Oh, good.
And
I look forward to it. I love nerding out.
And we'll have to go see a show soon.
Yes, for sure. We'll
Yeah.
get one on the books.
Thank you.
Okay. Please a deep dive away with me.
Okay, Mario.
I don't know what that. What?
I said, okay, Mario.
Yep.
Let's go.
Let's go. Camille talked about working through regrets and not wanting to have regrets.
Well, yeah, she's a yes woman. She
Any?
has yes days and yes vacations, which.
Oh, I mean, that
love
just
that.
sounds amazing. I want to have a yes day for sure. I'm curious though. Do you have any regrets?
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 No regrets. There are things that I wish I would have done differently, but I don't know that they're regrets. I don't know that they're major.
Okay.
I don't think so. I don't think I had at this moment in time.
I have two that I can think of.
I probably do. They're just not top of mind right now. What are your two?
Not going into the Eras tour.
Of course.
Is definitely that's definitely one of them. And my other one is not going to the running of the bulls when I was literally right fucking there. So those are the two that come to mind for me of like, those are, man, I do wish I would have experienced both of those things.
So those are two regrets, and it's interesting that's you have two regrets of things that you didn't do. And I guess when I think about it, as like things that I wish I would have done differently. So it's more of like things that I did that I regret rather than like missed opportunities.
Yeah. Okay.
So do you have regrets in the way that I'm thinking about it? And I'm trying to think about if I have missed opportunities that I...
Yeah. Okay. So we each had our different way of defining regret, I guess. Are there things that I did that I'm not proud of? Of course. Are there decisions that I made in ways that I even talked? And yeah, there's things that I've done, but I don't know that any of those types of moments I regret, because those to me are the biggest learning opportunities. So
yeah, I guess I don't really have anything that's eating at me when I think about it that way.
I don't think, yeah.
I've let most of it go. Like there's things that I definitely, like I said, would have done differently early, like in my 20s. And
yeah, there's 1000% things that I have said that I'm like, oh fuck, dude, like that was not cool. That was not cool.
Yeah.
I can't believe I said that. And I can see that I can look back and say I learned from those experiences. So I'm not going to sit here and regret all of those moments.
Sure.
So for me, the regrets are more about the lost opportunities. That the running of the bulls, I mean, at least as of now, that's something that still happens every year. Is it going to be the same exact experience as if I did that back when I was 22? Of course not.
Well, no, I don't think you can do it. I think your back would...
Oh, well, I wouldn't actually run. Let me be clear. I wasn't going to actually run no. It's a big ass party. Like that part, I just want to go party. I'm not trying to go like run. No, absolutely not. I'm not that kind of person. You know that I would not do that. Whereas like the Eras tour, is there going to be another tour that Taylor Swift does, and is there going to be another like big thing? Potentially, but it's never going to be that again. It's never going to be that exact tour again with that set list and those songs and those moments, right? So that's something that I did not go do, and it's like I will never have that opportunity in the future. It's done. It's gone. So that's the regret.
Got it. Yeah, I don't know that I have the missed opportunity stuff. That was like, oh, I was here and I could have done it and I didn't do it. I try to do that as much as I possibly can.
Well, you, in the years that I've known you, I feel like you are the ultimate, just like Camille, like you're a yes person. And I think that that's been something that has helped me grow being in a relationship with you, is you say yes to pretty much everything that we get invited to. There's very, very rare occasions that there's something that we get invited to that we don't go do. And honestly, I think the times that you have said no is because I said no. Because I was like tired, or I did whatever it might be. But for the most part, you are somebody who just very fully lives life and like doesn't want to have these moments of like, oh, I could have done the thing. I should have, coulda, shoulda, woulda. Like that's, and yeah, you're a yes person.
Yeah. I mean, I don't say yes to everything. It's part of it is I feel honored to be invited if someone invites me somewhere. And if I don't have any, but it's very much like if I don't have anything and I'm moderately interested, it's like, yeah, sure. Why not? Especially if it's something that I don't normally do.
Yeah. I was actually complimenting the fact that you're a yes person, that you are somebody, because of the fact that you literally just said that you don't have this like missed opportunity regret. That's not something that you have. I get uncomfortable thinking about a brand new experience. I don't know what this is. I don't know what to expect. And I've grown a lot because of being in a relationship with you, who is more of like yeah, let's go try it. Why not? What's there to lose?
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the compliment. So nice of you. Yeah, I mean, it's probably from my mom. She's what Camille said about yes vacations. That's always her mentality. No, we're here to have a good time. We're gonna do it up a little bit, right? And not yes to everything, but whatever is within kind of reasons. Like, what do you want to do? Let's go do that. Let's have fun. Let's go make memories. Let's go do things that we don't normally do. That's what makes vacation special.
Mm-hmm.
That was always her mindset. I think part of it for me is if I feel uncomfortable or it's something I haven't done, it's leaning into it, because there's something really cool about blank slate. I don't know anything about the thing that I'm doing, and I don't know what I don't know. Sometimes that feeling is terrifying, and sometimes it's, if I'm able to catch it in the moment, like it's a really cool. There's so many things that I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's a good reminder. John Griswold invited me rock climbing the other day, and I hadn't been rock climbing in 15 years. And we walked in, and he's like, he kind of knows what he's doing, but can you give him like the crash course? And it ended up being like a half hour, because the lady's like, we need to kind of give you the full.
You know nothing.
She's like, so yeah, give me like what you know. I'm like,
Yeah.
Right. And then as it was getting explained, I was like, oh yeah, like that makes sense, and this and cool, got it. And yeah, I mean that was something that there's heights involved, and like I felt nervous and felt it was a little terrifying, and making sure that all the shit is locked in and that I didn't miss anything.
Yeah, that's something that if I would have been the one invited to that, I don't think that I would have said yes to that. Not because of my back, but because of and it's like literally hearing you talk about this, I'm wondering if growing up in the constant change, new school, and all I just wanted to be able to fit in when I got to this, like wherever I got into, is I just want to fit in and blend in as soon as I possibly can. And so not doing something that I'm not good at immediately because I'm different, I'm standing out in a way that's like, this is unfamiliar to this person.
Yeah, it's not safe. Part of for
Right.
you is like, how do I feel safe? And there's already so many different variables, and I'm walking into a classroom or whatever situation, and it's like, yeah, I don't want to look stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to stand out. I just want to blend in. So how do I blend in?
Oh, God, strip that shit away. Go get uncomfy.
Yeah, there's a lot of growth happens. So yeah, I mean, part of the reason I say yes to stuff, especially if it's a new thing, is like, that sounds fun. That sounds cool.
Yeah. No, it's great. I mean, I've learned a lot from being with you and being around you, and just watching the way that you move through the world, and being able to, I mean, the nice thing about being able to do this together is like, I do have you as my safety, like in these environments, right? So, well, yeah, but that's all. I just thank you for helping me push past comfort.
You're welcome. Happy to help.
Thanks, bub.
No problem, bub.
Put her there, bub.
Put her there.